Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of The Psychology of Marriage Success. My name is Adaeze Chiwoko from Marriage for Real, and I'm here with my buddy,
Victor Onochie from Genius Metaphor.
And we've got a really interesting episode for you today. I think this one is targeted at my brothers, hubbies, men.
Okay.
And we're asking, I really want to talk about why providing just isn't enough. Why is she still moaning and groaning? But as usual, before we go into that, let's have some coffee. Wisdom, what have you got for us today? Caramel latte.
Caramel latte. It's coffee and caramel.
Cheers. I never do that.
Cheers.
Coffee and caramel. Lovely, lovely.
This is good.
Creamy, sweet, yummy. Dangerously good. Also, don't forget that, I can't reach. Boom, you can get this yummy coffee on subscription. This is the 100% Arabica whole bean coffee. Very good. Produced right here where we're filming this in Nigeria.
Yep.
And
made in Nigeria.
Made in Nigeria, so good. And so like I said, you can get this on subscription. You just need to hit the link in the description and you get 10% off delivery, which is really, really good. I would recommend you do it if you love coffee like you do. All right. I want to sit back a bit more in this one, Victor, because I need you to explain.
The brothers.
Explain to the brothers why a hubby is doing what he feels he needs to do, as in he's paying the bills, he's provided the house, he's putting the money where it needs to be, he's being the provider man, right? Yeah, she's still like, you don't love me and we're not connected and I'm not happy. What's going on? And so here's what I hear from men before I sort of allow you to answer. I hear from men, Adaeze, what more does she want? Like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, right? I'm doing what I've been told I need to do, which is be a man in this family, right? Provide for this family. Why is she still complaining? And when I say, well, she needs to feel loved from you, I am loving her. I'm providing. Right? Yeah. Where is the confusion? Where's the lack of understanding here? What's going on? Help us understand.
Well, I maybe I felt I was going to hear, but then I think the thing is this: marriage has evolved over time. There were times when the man's major responsibility, it was a thing of breadwinner and homemaker. That was a thing of the past. But now we've brought the love thing. Not that it wasn't there, but it was always there.
We had the audacity to
bring the
in
love,
this whole love thing. Who thought of that? Crazy.
Yeah. And these days, women actually are also co-breadwinners this day. Like two people go out. And so men growing up, you've been told or you've been brought up in such a way that it's about certain responsibilities. You need to be able to take care of your wife, provide for the home, provide for the family, do that. That's what makes you a man, And yeah, that's true. But that's the base level. That's the base level.
Listen, let me interrupt you there, my brother. I'm so glad you said that. Because I feel like many men feel like...
That's it. When they do that, that's it.
They've reached the top of the mountain.
Once they've done that.
That's it. Where, listen, bro, that's standard.
That's the basic, yeah.
You've just begun. Come on, speak into it.
So for women, they teach the women about nurturing the home. She gives birth to a child, and all that. Like I still say, that's still the basics. Even for the women, these are the basics.
No, it's not. It's everything, okay?
It is the basics.
Stop putting pressure on us.
It is the basics. It is the basics. Because at the end of the day, these are the reason why the man will be mostly the provider. He goes out, even from time, he has to go to the forest. He's the stronger physically.
Don't tell the feminists that. Don't come after us. Don't come after us, Twitter.
I mean, you go and see building a house. 98 or 99% of the people who you see actually building.
I mean, it's a fact. Yeah, men are physically stronger.
So, but times have changed, and now women are now in the workforce doing things. You get so. There's a shift, and just like we've talked about self-actualization and all that, there are basics. But after the basics, it's really about the companionship. And there's something, I think there's a time we talked about love languages.
Yeah.
Most times our love language is what we tend to give to others.
Yeah.
And most times with men, a man's love language is acts of service and things like that. So the man would feel buying you one Mercedes Benz and all that is what makes you happy as a woman, and he goes out of his way, he hustles, get that, gives it to his wife. Now a woman wants to be appreciated, she wants to be given, done these things, and maybe a lot of women they don't mind that. That's what they want. And that's why we still talk about the dynamics. But if you've married somebody who her love language is really about attention, about, quality time and all, you need to, you need to know who you are getting married to.
Which doesn't mean that she doesn't still want the Benz.
The Benz. It doesn't mean she doesn't want the Benz.
She still wants the Benz now, hubby. But if we can sort of spend some time with her after you bought it, that'll be great.
But then there are actually those who really do not appreciate that Benz as much as
This is where the issue is. Yeah. So again, with working with couples around the world, I think that I've really grown to know and understand that actually underneath everything, human connection is what we actually want above all
at the
things.
end of the day.
Do you know what I mean? Because how about the material stuff?
Yeah.
But what about our relationship?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And how do I know that you have my heart and you care about my feelings and how I think? And what I hear a lot from women is this feeling of, I'm just here.
Exactly.
Yes, the house is provided for.
It's a beautiful house.
For the women who are blessed enough to, have to, not have to work. Maybe he's fully providing and all of that. Maybe you do work and your money is your money. Great, But if you're sort of last on the priority list, right? You have someone that doesn't actively seek ways to spend time with you.
I like that. Actively seek ways to spend time with you.
Right. Who doesn't affirm you with his words, who isn't physically or verbally affectionate towards you. It can be a lonely existence in marriage.
Lonely, yeah. That's the word, lonely. And that's why you probably see the woman starts pushing that attention to kids, and some these days will push it to someone else out there.
Right.
And, when the whole thing falls apart and the guy is wondering, where did I go wrong? I was providing for her.
Exactly.
But they say this, the devil's mind, the something mind is the devil's workshop.
Idle mind.
The idle mind, the idle mind. If she's
okay, she's not got anything else to think
about. Nothing to think of. The car, it's all there, and you are not giving her time. She's not having you to spend quality time with nothing. Then her mind starts looking for outlets,
Well, here's the thing. Let's be real. Women aren't just sort of these things that are sitting in the house.
Furnitures. They're not furnitures.
We're not just that. And and how I always look at it is, it's a very basic thing, but what's the point? So what is the point of being in a relationship, being in marriage, right? Giving my whole life to someone just to collect things? Like, I could do that myself.
Yeah, if you put yourself, and that's really what
that's the
most women are saying now.
Do you know what I mean? That's
saying that
like,
it's not that anymore.
It's not that.
I can get that.
It's nice, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's not what I actually need. I appreciate it.
Not that they don't appreciate it. Yes, they do.
Actually, as an expression of love, it's great. But what I desire now that I can't give myself is that human connection. Is
the companionship.
The companionship,
the friendship,
is the feeling
the intimacy,
of love and the intimacy, right?
Yeah.
So if you've taken all of that bit away, I mean, what is this marriage?
And that's why, even because most times it depends, when the way people are brought up can really affect, how they show up in relationships. And that's why I always believe that a man and a woman is ideal to raise children, boys, girls, because there was something I was looking at on Instagram where it says the woman nurtures with love, the man builds the strength of the children, and
it's very, very true. I really do see that in my marriage.
Yeah, so there has to be the balance. The small child would fall, and the woman wants, and the guy's like, no, leave him, let him stand up.
Oh God, it's so hard. It's so hard.
You get, so it's the balance of the two. A human being has to be a well-rounded being, and most times when people probably brought up with just daddy or male figures all around, even with women, they become sort of like macho kind of women, and when they even get into relationships, there's always going to be that competition with the husband. And that's why I would always go back to the beginning. Choice, choosing a mate. First things first, you need to know yourself and be able to know who are you getting married to, so that it's more of a synergy, more of compatibility, and that helps, so that when you guys are in the relationship, you guys can blend out your love languages, and it's just a place where you have to look at the world. The world is evolving. Women are walking now. They can do what they want to do. They can do unless you don't want that kind of woman. You want someone who just wants to sit at home and you just provide for her and she's okay with it. No problem. But if you want a body, a partner, somebody who wants to evolve too, then you just have to learn how to. I think it's, even if you don't know how to do it, even if it's not your thing, you can always learn it. You can always learn it. And that's another thing I also tell women. Be the person who can help him be that kind of person. You teach him, not in terms of putting pressure on him. Oh, you didn't call me today.
Right.
No. Support him. If you want him to call you, call him. The more you do it, give him the cue. I'd like you to call me today at work.
You know what you're saying is important, because, and it's funny that we sort of put this in this, the whole thing of love languages, because maybe you're right in that aspect. And here's the thing with love languages is that although he or she might not be loving you in the language that you understand, he's still expressing love to you, or she's still expressing love. So, my husband is service and gifts all the way. Like, babe, look what I did for you. Like, currently, like now, he's ripping out the bathroom, right? He's literally ripped out the bathroom, and that is him being like, wife, look at this. I'm going to build you a new bathroom. Right? Look at how I love you, right? But I'm a very, very, I mean, I adore that. Obviously, I absolutely cannot wait to see this new bathroom. But I'm very happy with him just spending all day stroking me and just telling me that I'm a wonderful wife. That's how I really do receive love. Oh, and getting lovely texts from him and all, because I'm a very romantic person. So,
and he understands that.
Yes, but more importantly, I understand that when he's doing these service things, even though that isn't directly my number one love language, I know that he is shouting.
He's shouting, exactly.
So I'm not going to be like, okay, he's working on the bathroom and he's not sent me a beautiful text for 2 weeks, maybe.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be like, you don't even text me with your... Because I'm like, I can see his love.
Yeah.
Right? So if I really do need that nice text, I'm going to just message him and say, hey, babe, tell me something nice.
Exactly.
Which is what I do when I need to hear that. Or I'll be like, hey, I've booked at the table because I want to spend some time with you.
Yeah.
So I've been receiving your love in your language and I recognize it. And when I need the direct one that I really get, instead of being... negative.
Exactly.
I'm just going to help you out in that area.
Yeah.
So
it reminds him.
Yeah.
It reminds him. And so that's the thing, that, it's two people always supporting each other. It's not, I don't want to use the word complaining but that's what really happens most times. You start complaining, oh, you're not getting this. And it's the thing about being the person who is influential. Be the influence in your marriage. This is what you want. Start giving it, start talking about it, start supporting the other person. People don't want to be badged on, told they are not doing this and all that. But support.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, there is that. But at some point as well, men have to start to learn.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That women are emotional beings. And just because we've had to teach ourselves to be less connected to our emotions because men are a bit rubbish sometimes, doesn't mean that it's, and again, women around the world, doesn't matter where they're from, at the baseline, we are emotional beings. In fact, there's the part of our brains where emotions are, connected and all that we see happens where we feel our emotions. It's significantly bigger in women.
I know.
It's significantly bigger in women.
Feel a lot.
We feel, right? And so I always say to men, if you're not able to tap into and connect with your woman on an emotional level, you're missing her. So I don't want to put all the responsibility on teaching. No, men also need to know that when you're connecting with a woman, you're connecting with an emotional being. Like we navigate through our lives with feelings.
Agreed.
Right? And so it's time for, if this is something that you're not so good at, you also have to take
responsibility
to say, okay, how can I be more validating of my wife's feeling? How can I actively connect with her emotions? How can I meet her where she's at? And if that's being more intentional about creating time with her, I need to do that. If that's expressing love to her in the way that she understands. And here's the other thing that men need to understand. Woman, just because she married you and had babies, she still wants to feel like a woman. Right?
I get it.
And I don't know how to explain to you what it's like to feel like a woman, but she needs it. And you used to make her feel that way when you guys were dating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now you just dropped it. No,
because
go
of
back.
trying to provide.
Right. Right.
The
providing isn't enough. The bend is that she needs to feel like a woman. And it's that thing of when she feels seen, when she feels prioritized. When she feels loved on.
That's the word, prioritized.
Right?
Prioritized.
Loved on, treasured. Like
the way you speak to her.
Come on, right?
She knows you are deliberately making time for her.
And those special words that you use where she just goes into your presence and leaves all loved up.
Agreed. I'm with you on that.
Right? Women need to feel that. And it's not, this is why I'm a bit, when we say it's a mature people, say it's people, it's almost like we take away from, okay, but where is that romantic love? Where is that? I'm always trying to remind my couples that yes, you're husband and wife and your mum and dad, but guess what? You're lovers. And so when men say to me, like, I don't understand, like, I'm doing all these things. I've got the car and, the bills are paid and da-da-da. I'm always like, but what about her? What about your relationship? The relationship part. What happened to that bit?
So there's a need for reorientation.
There's a need for reorientation.
Yes. Men have to start learning, even if you don't know, learn all over again. But
the thing is, I feel like
they know because I
knew at a time when you were dating, you know how to do it. You knew how to do it. And those of you looking for women outside, suddenly your romance game comes on point. Right?
True.
With the side, but you don't know how to do it with the main.
With the main one.
It made no sense. Not that we're encouraging sides, but for some reason, men know how to do it in that position. Bring it back into your marriage.
I think it's about being deliberate.
It is about being deliberate. And it's about not taking your woman for granted.
Yeah. So be deliberate. Think about it. Don't overthink it. Just go back to how you guys started and come alive.
Come alive.
Yeah, come alive.
Stop being dead and dry. Stop being a dry husband. I pay the bills and now I just come home and I sit down, I watch TV. Where's my food? And she brings the food and then you just go to bed. So dry. Like I need to be excited to be married. Like, oh my God, my husband is home. Yes. He's home and then all he's going to do is sit on the phone and put his feet up and not engage and not make me feel like a woman. Victor, why is this hitting you differently today?
I'm empathizing with my fellow brothers.
It sound like hard work.
Yeah, it's necessary work. It's necessary work. It's what has to be done. And I think one of the things people could do deliberately is, if you could find, Jordan Peterson would say, in a week, if you could find 90 minutes to talk about your relationship, talk about how to help each other to be better for each other. If you do that, because the thing is, if you don't give time to your relationship, it will just keep going.
What's he called? Jordan Peterson. Yeah, great advice. I'd like to take it up. 6 hours in a week, 90 minutes in 1 week to connect with me.
No, not even to connect, to talk about the relationship.
Yeah, okay, so there's talking about the relationship. And I'm nervous about people doing this overly because sometimes it can be a bit like talking about this. It feels a bit legalistic. And what I want to bring in is, yes, the talking, what's our needs and all of this, but also the fun, the adventure, the playing, the pleasure. I came up with 3 P's for keeping the spark alive.
Okay.
And maybe this is a whole different video, but I'm going to just drop it here.
Okay.
Right?
3 P's.
The 3 P's for keeping the spark alive in your marriage.
Okay.
First one is passion, where I'm going to make a decision that I am going to become passionate about you. I'm going to prioritize you, make you like, I'm going to make you my world. Okay. Number 2 is pleasure. Intentionally creating moments of pleasure. And I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about massages. I'm talking about walking down the street and holding hands. I'm talking about experiencing pleasurable things together, good food and travel and all of that stuff. And then 3, playfulness, like literally having a laugh together, having some fun together, doing all things and being intentional. And again, that doesn't have to be, I'm not talking about spending money. I'm just talking about how can we be injecting moments, consistently injecting moments. It might be that, you know what, I've just had a laugh about something with my friend. I'm going to text that right now while I'm at work to my wife. So me and her can have a little.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. It's just a moment.
I do that with my wife. Yeah.
Right? Of pleasure. But when it's like that side of you, the pleasure, the passion, everything, the playfulness is cut off. It's just serious. It's like, maybe there's 4 P's providing. Great, you've got that one. Now let's do the other 3 P's, So I honestly, it's something that women feel like they're struggling to communicate well. Maybe because they're in the place where now they're frustrated and now it just comes out like a nag. And this is important because if now you're saying, spend time with me, and it feels like a chore.
It becomes.
Guess what? I don't want to spend time with you anymore because it's like this girl is driving me crazy.
True.
So we have to be careful, and so we have to be careful of not doing that. But now just getting to a place where we cultivate this nice, warm environment that we want to be together.
Exactly.
And I just need men to understand that she's not ungrateful. For all the things that you're doing. It's not that she doesn't see it when she's saying, hey, but what about this? What about that? She's not discounting all your efforts. You're doing a great job. Thank you if you are the provider, man. Appreciate it. But there's another side of her and there's another side of the relationship that she's desperate to bring back alive with you.
Okay.
Right? And I always say this to men. It's a beautiful thing that she wants it with you. Imagine being married to a woman who's like, oh, it's okay, just give me the cars and provide, and I'm not really bothered about whether you're with me or not. I'm not really bothered about our relationship. I'm not really bothered about you spending time. In fact, don't spend time with me, just keep giving me. We'll be having a different conversation.
Different one. different one.
Right?
Because he'll be worried.
Right. But now you have someone who's like, even outside of all this material things, underneath it all, I just want you. And if you shifted your mindset and saw the beauty in that, maybe it wouldn't frustrate you so much when she's requesting it. You know,
it's perspective.
It's perspective.
Yeah. So,
I feel like I said a lot.
I've
released.
So my brothers, spend time, companionship, and that's why I talk about friendship. It's good to think of your spouse as a friend, and when you think about
friend and lover,
it makes you you're not just stuck up. You could really express yourself, crack jokes, play, do a lot of things.
Mess around,
just mess around,
Create those moments of pleasure and passion.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say something about the friends thing, though.
Okay.
I think that sometimes I've come across couples in my coaching that have taken the friend thing too far.
Too far.
You've become too good friends.
Mm-hmm.
That now the lovers bit doesn't come in because it's almost
it starts looking awkward. Mm-hmm.
Too good friends. So that's why I'm always like, absolutely be best friends with your partner.
But understand the other
dynamics. Also
Yes.
keep that romance, keep that idea of we're friends and lovers.
Yeah.
The two have to go together, because if we're just like friends, then at some point the lover part starts to die until it becomes actually awkward to be like that with each other.
There's a lot. It's a lot of work in terms of paying attention to the dynamics of the relationship, of what both of you are, and ensuring that every aspect is coming alive.
Yeah.
And if you're with your person, if you made the choice based on that perspective, it helps. It makes it less of a chore. It makes it makes it less of.
That it's not a chore.
Yeah, because sometimes it becomes, if you didn't have all this perspective when you were making the choice, then you have to extend yourself even a whole lot more. But if you had all this perspective, and when you were, making the choice, you had all this based on what you had with this person, what you're having with this person, you see all that and feel that this person, you and this person can create this experience. It's less.
That's it. Yeah. Create the experience.
Yeah.
What experience of marriage do you want?
Exactly.
And that's something I always ask my clients is, what was your idea of marriage?
Exactly.
Anyway? Like,
exactly.
When you were walking down the aisle, what was your
before walking down the aisle?
Even before,
leave the wedding,
right? What was your ideal? What was?
Yeah.
And then go ahead and create
it deliberately,
right?
Yeah.
And so it shouldn't feel like hard work. I'm trying to move away from that and call it intentional work.
Just being more deliberate.
We know the marriage we want to create. So for my husband and I, when we first got married, we weren't clear on that. And I feel like many couples do this, where they just say, we're getting married, and they're not clear on.
They're trying to wing it.
Just wake up every day and hope that it works and see what they've made. And, we did that. And I feel like that's why we ended up in such a confused place for a while. And then when everything, the poop hit the fan, for the English people that know that, the poop hit the fan, and we had to start again. This time we were so clear, and we actually sat down and we wrote down, we created our own marriage contract.
Exactly.
And we said, this is the type of marriage we want to have. Like, literally like a marriage by design.
Yeah.
And we knew that we wanted it to be passion-filled, to be full of love and laughter, deeply intimate, romantic. We knew that was what we wanted. And so step by step, we developed the skills to create it.
Mm-hmm. Right? So that's the thing, whenever, like, even working with leaders when it comes to executive coaching and all, and marriage is an issue, I say the way you could be so serious about your business.
Just imagine.
You understand? You understand that you need a plan to be able to bring this thing to life, and you're still working on the plan. And as you're working on the plan, you keep evolving the plan.
That's it.
It's the same thing with your marriage. You need to have an idea of what you want it to be. And now, because it's two of you, that means it's two of you that will create what you want it to be and start working towards it. Without that, it's just going to be a thing there looking at both of you and waiting like a time bomb to explode.
And here's the thing, is that if it's like you've been saying, I think you said it in nearly every single episode, is that marriage is there to grow you, help you go on that journey to your elevated self, to your higher self. And when people are stuck and they don't want to do that, they then see the marriage as the problem. Right? Yeah. And so then they leave and say, that marriage wasn't working, as if, the marriage is something over here, that it wasn't working, so I'm going to go and find another marriage. You're just taking your same level of understanding, lack of emotional intelligence, and low level of growth.
This is huge.
Right? To another relationship.
I'm hoping that one will give you.
Right.
When it's really about your growth. Right. You haven't grown to become that person that has the capacity to create that thing.
Exactly.
And so you should use, as I always say, the marriage is a platform for your growth.
Right.
It's just a mirror to you of certain things you need to evolve.
Right.
You know, and once you start doing the work, you start reaping the benefits.
Right. So come on, tell the men what work they have
Brothers,
to do. Right? Why providing isn't enough.
What do I need to tell them again?
To be more emotionally connected to
their
dude, wives.
Be more emotionally connected to your wives.
Come on.
Yeah, spend time with them.
Right.
I know we get to hang out, you know, and all that, the business meetings, hang out with the boys and all, but put her also in the schedule, you know, find that time for her. And I think if she's your lover and your friend and all that, you will do that with her. You will do that. Put it in your mind that this is what she is. Create it in your mind who she is.
You said
yeah. In your mind, you have to have that about her. Do you understand?
Listen, Mr. C did that. I remember years ago, he was very specific. He came to me and said, right, I've decided that you're my best friend. Mm-hmm. It was like, it was a decision. Right? I've got friends, but you my wife, are my best friend. So that was it.
Yeah.
Done.
So that means I want to share more with you as my best friend more than any other person.
Right.
And that's why I keep on talking about the whole friend. But it'd be good to make it the best friend thing that has the lover feel around it. You know,
you're learning.
Yeah. I'm learning.
Awesome. Amazing. Love it. Finishing off your coffee. So I think that's the end of this episode. Do you want to say anything else? Are you done? Got anything on your chest?
I think we're done.
You're right. Okay, great. That was brought to you in collaboration with Zuma Coffee. Myself, Adaeze Chiwoko from Marriage for Real, which you can follow me on Instagram, Marriage